So after 2 days of heavy use, I have a few thoughts I'd like to share with you. Flat screen, large arc corners, right angle edges, all Xiaomi 17 design traits remain intact. The mid-frame wrapping rear panel from the prior model is gone, so the grip feels less rounded now. The dual tone and leather look from last gen are absent on this base model unit, so the vintage camera vibe is less strong now, replaced by a sharper techie feel. This starry green color I picked feels quite similar to the parrot green matte finish on the SU7 Ultra. Plus these tiny speckles officially called mineral greens, which I find quite pretty. This year though, the new telephoto lens is much bulkier. It does drop one lens compared to the previous model. After switching from 4 to 3 lenses, the decal area became slightly smaller and the body is thinner now. When I hold it in daily use, it feels less sharp against my palm. This might be the slimmest Xiaomi Ultra yet. But how does its imaging stack up? The answer we seek lies right within this big circle. When it comes to imaging, what I want to talk about isn't all the specs they showed at the launch event. How much of these sleek terms translate into real-world use and tangible gains? Then Xiaomi is likely the first major brand we know to offer continuous optical zoom. And notably, it uses optical zoom based on this massive 200-megapixel HPE sensor within the 75 to 100mm range. It can offer pure optical zoom like a zoom lens without relying on digital cropping. On the 17 Ultra, this is an electric internal zoom lens. In real-world use, when I shoot, I find the 17 Ultra's zoom speed quite seamless and focus is fast too. Xiaomi preset 4 focal length markers here, though we can tweak them fine via the dial. Whether taking photos or video, I found the experience quite smooth. Let's head out together and see just how good it truly is. And when I used it for some basic shots and street photography as well, you do feel that this 2.5cm zoom range seems a bit limited when used in real-life situations. I reckon this is as far as this form factor can go. If you want to shoot mid-range portraits compared to the 70mm mid-zoom on the previous 15 Ultra, you'll have to step back just a little. Also, as this telephoto lens now features a larger zoom and focus unit, you'll notice more mechanical noise during regular use. Especially when I zoom past 4.3x or 100mm mark. You can clearly hear inside this lens a faint whooshing sound much like that of a fan or blower. Its support for telephoto macro has also weakened somewhat, jumping from 15cm to 30cm now compared to before. These are the minor quirks I've noticed while using this camera so far. But flaws aside, its image quality still shines quite brightly. A year on, Xiaomi has clearly refined this 200MP tele lens far better this year. It's much sharper now. Like the blown highlights I saw before, the wonky algorithms, focus jitters, and camera freezes, all these issues that hampered usability have improved quite a bit now. In terms of color, I can tell that on this model, Xiaomi has tamed the corner darkening a bit more. It's not as toxic now and tries harder to suppress highlights. And for portrait shots, it still suits well and excels at capturing human-centric scenes. If you want to shoot sweet girls or similar, its skin tone rendering is better than the 15 Ultra, though still not as good as OVE. For the main cam, Xiaomi still uses a 1-inch sensor design this year. The dual-gen LYT900 was upgraded to this Lighthunter 1050L with LOFIC technology. The specs are truly top-notch here. And this LOFIC tech notably boosts dynamic range in video. Such hardware-level gains feel quite distinct from algorithmic HDR. You can take a look at these sample shots here. In such extreme urban night scenes, the shadows retain fine details while the highlights remain crisp and not overexposed at all. Compared to a regular main cam without LOFIC technology, the gap is quite clear. But remember, when shooting video, you need to manually enable the LOFIC mode to get this effect. For stills, this 1-inch sensor is a classic strength. Larger sensors do indeed outperform smaller ones. Sometimes in night scenes, you don't need night mode to get great shots. The image quality in low light and backlit scenes is still top-notch with lovely optical blur. But this model, like the 15 Ultra, lacks a variable aperture. If you want to shoot close-up text or food items clearly, if you don't want that soft hazy bokeh from the wide lens, I suggest you lift your phone and zoom in to 2x. Besides that, using it for street snaps or daily logs feels great, and stability has improved a lot. I didn't face crashes, lost algorithms, or focus hunting bugs of any sort. If I were to list some flaws I noticed while street shooting these past 2 days, the viewfinder experience does lag a bit. Highlights in particular tend to blow out a bit. If you tap into the photo album right after taking the shot, you can see as well that the algorithm alters the colors and exposure quite a bit in the raw shots. This year's professional photography kit now features this off-white checkered pattern design. The buttons on this grip have all been redesigned, and the build and feel much better than the prior model. But I do wonder, would swapping these two buttons make the layout feel more intuitive? In terms of features, not much has changed here either. This controller has a 2000 mAh battery built in, the top dial supports zoom, and the shutter button allows half-press focusing and full-press shooting. But from a pro standpoint, this half-press autofocus here, it still uses random point AF like the previous model, just tap any spot in the frame, and it focuses there. Unlike cameras with preset focus modes. So in the end, you still have to tap the screen with your fingers to focus. The grip unit still lacks a 1/4 inch screw thread, meaning you'll need a phone clamp if you want a tripod. So in the end, I think this professional photography kit is more of an emotional value item, one that adds ceremony. And turning back to the camera itself, I think overall for these two most crucial lenses, Xiaomi's work this year earns me about 80% satisfaction. While some features are still missing, the final output's reliability, stability, and image quality have improved quite a lot. Continuous optical zoom did add a fresh twist to this rather stale market scene. But then again, having said all that, you might notice I haven't mentioned this ultra-wide lens at all. The specs weren't disclosed, but I bet it's still the old Gen 5, which compared to Vivo or Huawei's flagship models, still lags quite a bit. It can snap decent shots on days when light isn't scarce, but once you hit more complex urban night scenes, its resolution and image quality fall short, quite noticeably. Extreme night mode works still. When filming video, if I switch between main cam and ultra-wide lens, this brightness gap, this ultra-wide shot, if I said it came from a budget phone, you'd probably believe it. If you plan to shoot cafe reviews, street strolls, or outdoor vlogs with your phone, then the X200 Ultra, the new Huawei Mate, or an iPhone would be better choices. Though many users do say that they don't use the ultra-wide lens as often as they might, but I think since this is an ultra-imaging flagship, it should still be top tier in imaging specs. Now let's set aside photos and talk about its daily phone usage experience. HyperOS 3 on this device feels much like the Xiaomi 17 series models that have already launched. Wallpapers, UI, and animations are more refined now. They look great on Redmi devices and still feel premium on the flagship, priced in the thousands. If you just focus and savor the animations, it ranks top tier without a doubt. Many small tweaks are well refined, and it stacks up nicely against my top pick, ColorOS 16. But once you use it in real-world scenarios, minor stutters and frame drops still occur, especially when switching between apps with sudden frame hiccups. And yes, I've seen black or white screen loading issues as well. In the first release version I've used these past 2 days, I ran into a couple of random dropouts. Once in Weibo, I couldn't load photos at all, and once at a subway station right after switching phones, I re-downloaded the Citizen Card app. The net speed was just hundreds KB so slow, it left me standing there for ages. I hope future updates will fix this issue then. The screen is a Super Pixel CSOT display, just like the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max. It still uses optimized pixel layouts to reduce loss and deliver near 2K display quality. I think the overall look is just fine. Issues like the dirty screen effect or green tint are well controlled. In daily use, I notice its auto brightness is quite aggressive. Sometimes at night, I still need to tweak it down manually. As for the motor, it still uses the 0809 from the 17 Pro Max. I think the punch isn't strong. The haptic feedback is weaker than in the large motors of the Fine X8 Ultra. The tuning is crisp enough. It works just fine for daily typing, though it feels a bit lackluster during gaming sessions. But would folks who buy this imaging flagship use it for gaming? I think they would still ask for battery life and power up, to be frank, after a full day of use. Its battery drain was quite alarming. A 6800 mAh battery with half 5G and half Wi-Fi use shows the battery life as seen in the chart. I think there's still room for improvement in this space. For power up, Xiaomi has made upgrades. 90W wired power up, 50W wireless. When placed in an NIO car, it enables full-speed wireless charging, which is commendable. And for wired power up, besides its proprietary protocol, it now supports PPS as well. In tests, I used the stock power up charger. Speeds are shown in the chart. The external speakers show slight upgrades from last, and I noticed better bass output from the lower ones. Enough talk then, let's just do a sound test against the iPhone 17 Pro Max.
Picture perfect, you don't need no filter. Gorgeous, make 'em drop dead, you a killer. Shower you with all my attention. Yeah, these are my only intentions. Through your
Now that we've discussed the product, let's circle back to our video start. Once Xiaomi dropped the big fold path, this 17 Ultra now bears all the MIGO high aspirations. With memory costs on the rise, Xiaomi opted to launch early to seize timing, no spec cuts even with a price hike, and rolled out the pricier Leica Edition model. I think launching early was indeed a smart move since the audience for flagship models is limited. Just one New Year's Day and New Year were enough to prompt many buyers early on. Don't underestimate this. Back then, the X100 Ultra suffered due to its late release timing. And regarding the price hike, I wonder what you think about the relationship between the base model and the Leica Edition. Many of my friends who want to buy one think that the Leica Edition is just 500 RMB pricier than the base model, so it's worth it and they opt for it. But I think this base model 17 Ultra is now 500 RMB pricier than the 15 Ultra at same specs. The Leica Edition compared to the prior 15 Ultra with same specs rose by 1000 RMB. And if Xiaomi wanted to, they could have put the Leica logo on this base model and added those two filters too. After all, their processing power, lens designs, and sensors are all exactly the same. I don't think the Leica Edition has that logo just because of a twistable zoom ring or those two filters and so on. They're not doing this just to make the base model 17 Ultra a price reference point, like Perrier in Starbucks, making this 7,999 RMB Ultra seem more value for money. Make this price hike feel smoother so folks sense it as less abrupt in practice. I must say this is certainly a very smart pricing strategy. But whether Xiaomi can justify this price with a clamshell phone that won't drop later, well, hard to say. So do you think if Xiaomi wants to keep producing such flagships with straight body designs priced above 8,000 RMB teaming up with Leica would be a good move? And looking at the phone itself, it is indeed Xiaomi's most powerful device to date, with a stable experience right out of the box. So if you're interested in it and can accept its current price, I think it's still worth a try. Alright, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the triple combo for me. Pulling this video together through late nights was no easy feat. Thank you all for your support. I'm Xiao Chen, see you in the next video. Goodbye.